viewer, and welcome. This is MarketSquare. It's amazing to have you here tonight. I'm Olaito, and joining me tonight is the Institute Olaito Adebayo. Welcome to the show tonight, Olaito.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you on the show today.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Coca-Cola has announced plans to invest $1 billion in its Nigeria operations over the next 5 years. This investment aims to enhance expansion. The announcement was made during a meeting between the president and the Coca-Cola's global leadership team, led by John Murphy, president and CFO, and Nigeria Bottling Company Chairman Ambassador Segun Akpata. Zoran Bogdanovic, CEO of Coca-Cola Elnelink Bottling Company, noted that since 2013, the company has already invested $1.5 billion in Nigeria for capacity expansion, supply chain transformation, and training initiative, and is now ready to invest an additional $1 billion over the next 5 years. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended Coca-Cola for its enduring partnership with Nigeria and its employment of over 3,000 individuals across 9 production facilities, and pledged to support Coca-Cola in its effort to expand investment in the country and to address environmental challenges, including climate change. Coca-Cola has been present in Nigeria since 1951, and it began operations with the first bottling plant opening in Lagos, and 73 years later, Nigeria has about 9 production plants across the country. In our previous episode, there's been news of companies packing up in Nigeria, which definitely had an impact on the economy. Also in 2021, Coca-Cola made an investment commitment, which they didn't follow through. Why didn't they follow through at that time, and what makes us believe they will do so now, Olaito?
Yeah, because in 2021, Coca-Cola made an investment, pledged an investment in Nigeria, but actually didn't go with the plan. And this is due to several reasons. At that time, the global economy was just recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. We could have made Coca-Cola to rethink its investment strategy in other countries, including Nigeria. Also, the issue of high inflation and change in the value of naira could have made it hard for the Coca-Cola company to invest, thereby not going on with the investment plan. However, there are some reasons to believe that they would definitely go through with this plan, because the company would have likely reviewed its strategic goals and recognized the importance of investing in Nigeria, because Nigeria has the growing consumer base, and recent trends have shown that Coca-Cola is now more focused on sustainability and innovation, which actually aligns with the markets, with the current market trends. Also, the Coca-Cola company would have put in place the better management system to look at all these past challenges and make sure this future investment actually happens.
All right. Now, Coca-Cola plans to invest additional $1 billion in its Nigeria operation, and this is huge. How will this investment impact Nigeria economy? Because earlier I talked about companies also packing up in Nigeria. We should definitely know that it had negative impact on the economy. Looking at this investment, I'm very sure it's going to have a positive impact on our economy in Nigeria. So how will this investment impact Nigeria economy?
This is definitely good, as it will have positive impact on Nigeria's economy. First, one of the immediate effects of this additional investment is the creation of more jobs. It's to create thousands of jobs, either directly through its operation or indirectly through its supply chains. This expansion also creates more job opportunities for thousands of people in the country, as Nigeria has this pressing concern of youth unemployment. And you know that for every job created at Coca-Cola, additional job will emerge in the supply chain, the transportation, and also in the logistics. This will definitely contribute to the economy, the overall economy. Another thing is that we've witnessed, before this investment, Nigeria has witnessed several multinational companies leave the country due to financial exchange shortage. But with this investment, it will position Nigeria as an investment destination, because when multinational companies invest in the market, it signals growth and market stability in that country. And with this investment, it will encourage more investors to make Nigeria their base, make use of Nigeria as their base, and this will therefore bring about foreign direct investment. Bring about foreign direct investment to the country, and also additional revenue, technology transfer, and expertise will be brought into the country. And also through this expansion, the Nigeria government will benefit from the tax revenue, because as Coca-Cola grows, it will continue to pay more in corporate tax and also taxes from its employees and suppliers. And this additional revenue can be channeled to the infrastructural project, the educational sector, and also to the educational sector and also to the health sector. And this would definitely improve the quality of life of citizens.
All right. Now, the next headline is not so good for those that use band A in Nigeria, the band A consumers in Nigeria, but definitely it's good for Nigeria economy. Now, electricity consumers on band A feeders may encounter a potential tariff increase due to a significant rise in power subsidies, which reached 181.63 billion in September 2024. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, noted that the government subsidy burden grew from 102.30 billion in May, raising concerns about another tariff hike if power generation costs do not stabilize. Now, Olaiton, what is the link connecting subsidy, anticipated tariff hike, and the eventual impact on the finance of the people?
Okay, basically what this means is that those who pay for electricity bills, like who pay less, will definitely pay twice or thrice of the bills now. Because when government anticipates the tariff hike, it means that they want to definitely cut back on the subsidies. And with this recent increment, this definitely shows that consumers will definitely pay more for their electricity bills. This decision, however, doesn't sit well with several groups, just like the labor unions, the education and health institution, as they have seen their electricity bills multiply ever since the electricity bills removal. But with this rising tariff and subsidy removal, it will definitely have impact on the finances of the people, as households do not have to pay more for their power bills, making less money available for essential expenses like the food, the education, and the health, which can actually limit the quality of life. Another thing is that this tariff hike will definitely surge up the prices of goods and services, as business will want to pass on the increased expenses to their consumers, therefore contributing to the rising inflation and making essential things more expensive.
All right. Recently, there's a food subsidy in Nigeria, and I know that has had a major impact on Nigerian citizens, transportation and food. Now, with this subsidy on electricity, I'm sure that it's not going to be so easy for Nigerian citizens. Anyways, government record shows that electricity subsidy has grown significantly over the past few months, as the subsidy stood at 140.7 billion in April, but surged up to 181.63 billion naira in September. And this can be attributed to foreign exchange fluctuation and rising inflation rates. To maintain liquidity in the sector, the government sees subsidies for band A customers who receive a minimum of 20 hours of electricity daily, raising the tariff to 225 per kilowatt per hour. In May, the government reduced the band A tariff to 206.80 kilowatts per hour when the subsidy dropped to 102.30 billion. However, in early July, the tariff was increased to 209 kilowatts per hour as the subsidy rose again to 158 billion in June. Now, Olaiton, what are the main reasons behind the proposed tariff hike despite the current power subsidy in Nigeria? We know that Nigerian current power subsidy is epileptic. So what do you think might be the reason for this?
Okay, yeah, because while the power subsidy is intended to ease burden on the citizens of Nigeria, however, this tariff hike aims to address deeper issues in the power sector. Like, presently, the power distribution company is facing financial difficulty, and the current tariff cannot cover the operational costs. And by increasing the tariff, the government aims to support the power sector so that they'll be able to produce reliable light and operate effectively. Another thing is that this tariff hike is very crucial for developing and maintaining the power infrastructure, because the Nigeria power grid actually needs expansion and upgrade in order for it to be able to provide reliable light. And the only way this can be actually possible is by increasing the tariff. And also, this tariff hike will attract more investment into the power sector, because when an investor sees an environment that is very sustainable and profitable, that is when they will be able to commit their funds, which will therefore bring about efficient facility and better services.
All right. Thank you very much for the explanation. And the United States Chamber of Commerce has approved $320 million to support mortgage refinancing and financing for small and medium enterprises in Nigeria. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, Ms. Nisha Bishwa, made this known at a U.S.-Nigeria Executive Business Roundtable hosted by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. She stated that with a portfolio of $1 billion, the Chamber plans to invest $200 million mortgage refinancing in Nigeria. Additionally, the sum of $100 million has been earmarked for FCMB to finance SMEs in Nigeria with particular interest in women's empowerment. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce also announced that $20 million has been approved for a firm Robust International for cashew nut processing in Nigeria. This was stressed that the American Chamber remains committed to working with Nigeria in developing and pursuing sustainable economic policies. In light of this, Vice President Shettima, leading the Nigeria delegation at the ongoing United Nations General Assembly, reaffirmed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's dedication to implementing investors-friendly policies. The investment is aimed at mortgage refinancing, funding for small and medium enterprises, and cashew nut processing in Nigeria. How do you think this investment will contribute to the country's economic growth?
Definitely, it's more or less like it's raining investment in Nigeria. First, it was the Coca-Cola investment, and now the U.S. Chambers of Commerce invest. As it will improve housing access and also support local businesses and improve and boost the agriculture. By refinancing mortgage, more Nigerians will have more access to buy more homes, and this will definitely improve the living conditions and encourage people to contribute to the environment, because when people have a roof over their head, that is when they can invest in their community, and this will eventually contribute to the economic activity of the country. And also, by supporting the small and medium enterprise, this investment will enable them to grow and expand their operation, because as the business grow, it will definitely create new job opportunities. Also, investing in this cashew nut processing will strengthen Nigeria's agricultural sector, because it will add value to the products of the farmers and also increase their products. And it will also place Nigeria as a competitive player in the global markets.
All right. Now to the international news. Olaitan Adebayo will run us through the happenings in Sierra Leone and also the Microsoft layoff. Over to you, Olaitan.
Thank you so much. Starting with Sierra Leone, the International Monetary Fund have revealed that Sierra Leone and its staff have reached a staff-level agreement on economic policy and reforms that could be supported by a new 38-month extended credit facilities arrangement worth about $253 million. The organization indicated that this new extended credit facility arrangement aims to promote inclusive growth through reforms and combat corruption. Also, it is designed to restore stability by enhancing debt sustainability, addressing fiscal dominance, reducing inflation, and rebuilding reserves. These objectives would support the goals of poverty reduction and economic growth highlighted in Sierra Leone's medium-term National Development Plan for 2024. Sierra Leone's last extended credit facility concluded in December 2023. Olaitan, what economic challenges is the country currently facing that have led to its request for additional funds from the IMF?
Sierra Leone is facing challenges when it comes to the economy greatly presently. Now, let's start with high inflation, especially in the prices of goods. Now, this high inflation affects majorly the price of rice. You know what they say about an hungry man? An hungry man is an hungry man. So when the citizen of a country is hungry, definitely there's no peace in that land. So this high inflation has caused food insecurity in the country. Now, let's put high inflation aside. There's also the issue of domestic issues and then the global economy, which has had effect in their economy. But in order to improve this, when we're talking about these issues, we're talking about the poor policies, we're talking about over-reliance on import goods. Now, I think Nigeria is also having that problem where we are over-reliant on petroleum, we are over-reliant on foodstuff, and that is why the economy in Nigeria is also deteriorating. Now, one thing the government of Sierra Leone can do in order to make sure that things get better is to invest into agriculture and also local productions that would help the country economy grow back. Now that the IMF has borrowed their money, there is need for the government to re-strategize and make sure that things work well.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, how has the economic situation changed in Sierra Leone since the last IMF agreement?
Okay, so looking at that, the last agreement was in 2023. That lasted December 2023. And looking at the high inflation then, as at that time, as at late 2023, the inflation rate was at 55%. But then looking at it in August 2024, is at 25%, which is a good news. It is a good thing. But despite this, there's a problem when it comes to the high interest rates and losses in their electricity, which is really affecting their economy. Now, it's a good news that the IMF has also made and proposed $253 million to the Sierra Leonean government in order to stabilize their economy, in order to reduce high inflation, and also for economic growth. Now, talking to the government now to make things better, like I said earlier, the government will need to invest that money into a lot of things in order to better the country. Because if they get the money and it is not well used, definitely they would be debt-ridden. And that is what we're facing in Nigeria presently, because the debt that we're in Nigeria, it's only God that can help us. So with this, it means that once they get this $253 million, because it's a whole lot of money, the government needs to invest this money into agriculture, like I said earlier, and also local production. And we should also look at bond and stocks, because this investment brings in revenue, and this revenue would be able to sustain the country.
Now to the fifth headline. Microsoft is set to lay off about 650 employees from its gaming division, 8 months after the company laid off 1,900 employees in its gaming division following its $68.7 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard. The gaming CEO, Phil Spencer, stated that the job cuts will primarily impact corporate and support staff within the division, but assured that no games devices or experiences are being cancelled, and no studios are being shut down as a result of the recent layoffs. Spencer explained that the decision to reduce workforce by approximately 3% of its gaming staff was made to align the team's structure following the acquisition and to reorganize the business for long-term success. In a memo released by the gaming boss, he explained that the job cuts will have impact on other teams as they will have to adapt to shifting priorities, manage life cycle and performances of games. How do you think this restructuring impacts the overall efficiency and output of gaming teams, Olaiton?
Okay, looking at the decision of Phil Spencer, this restructuring would definitely have short-term impact and long-term impact. Yeah. I'm sure Phil Spencer also agreed. He also acknowledged that this will have effect on the team's priority. Now, when we're looking at the short-term impact, it means that there will be fewer people working in a team. Probably before now, we have 20 people working on a particular project. It means that they will have to streamline it to about 10 people working on that project. And because of this, they will have to overstretch themselves in order to meet up with deadline. Also, because of this, it would reduce the morale of the people to work, although it is temporarily, because people now live in fear of, oh, I might get sacked tomorrow. I might be the next victim. It can happen to anybody. So since it happened to the others, who says it can't happen to me? So people are now living in fear of, oh, I might get laid off. And it's just a short-term thing. With time, they would get to understand that, okay, the reason why I'm still here is because I am up to the task. I am still needed. But then when we're talking about the long-term impact, it will have a long-term impact because now the team that they now have, there's now a reorganization and distribution, which will also lower the development cycle. But now with this team that they now have, now they know that they cannot come together to focus on a critical task, on a critical project. And also it will also help Microsoft to align the resources allocation and also the project goals in order to be able to reach the target and also put out to release polished games for the people, because it is the people that are more important in all of this. So well done to Microsoft. I hope that this decision in which they take would be of good help to the company, and I really hope that we will not see the bankrupt hand of Microsoft.
Thank you, Olaiton, for that insightful explanation. I'm very sure our viewer out there now have an in-depth understanding about what is happening in the international economy.
Definitely. Thank you for joining me on the show tonight. You can follow us on our social media platform at VG Media. I'm Olaiton Babatunde, and here with me is
Olaiton Adebayo.
Thank you for watching.